Good morning, y'all. It's Sunday. I just wanted to continue sharing my journey of not only my addiction, but my healing process. And I was talking to a friend last night, and I was saying that the hardest thing ever is forgiving yourself. The hardest thing ever is looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, "Ooh, I sure did act trifling. I I was just not a good person. I seemed nice, but I was always on edge. I always had this wall up that I'm ready to argue or fight with people. And when I say fight, I mean physically. And, it all stems back to when I grew up in Paradise Hills in San Diego. I had a friend who lived across the street from us. And we became really, really good friends. We were always together, always together. And her dad was just weird. You can look him up. His name is Michael Hale. He's out of Victorville. Um, he just started getting sexually aggressive with not just with her, but with me. And sorry, that's my nephew's dog. Dobo, quiet, go lay down. And oh, wait a minute. So it was getting more difficult for me to continue going over to her house because it was always met with her dad trying to get at me. And for years, because I blocked it out, um I didn't understand why certain things triggered me. And in the 70s, the thing was to have mirrors up all, on your wall. I hated mirrors. Even to this day, I don't have mirrors in my house other than what's in the bathroom or the mirror that I use to put my makeup on, but I don't have mirrors in my house. Um, but I never understood why mirrors bothered me. That it just did something to my spirit. And I got triggered when I would meet a man and he gets a little aggressive, like sexually aggressive, like grabbing me and wanting to kiss me. It triggered me. And it wasn't until the year that my mom was dying, which was in 2012, I I got a message on Facebook from that girl that lived across the street from me, my friend. And so she was like, "Oh, Tina, give me a call. We got so much to catch up on." So I was like, all right, I'll give you a call. So I remember sitting at the dining room table at my apartment. And I called her and we're talking and we're just laughing, reminiscing about things and, how, oh man, she used to love Prince. And so we just went on and on about, our childhood and our memories that we had with each other. And I was telling her, my dad and my grandma Toyon, which is my dad's mom, I said they passed away on the same day, just 2 hours apart. And she was like, "Oh, Tina, I'm so sorry." And she said, if anything happened to my dad, I wouldn't care. And I remember I said, we only have one mom and dad. Whatever issues you have with your dad, fix it. And I remember it was that uncomfortable silence, like just And she said, Tina, do you not remember? And I said, remember what? She said, what my dad did to us. I remember I was on the phone and now I was silent. I was like, no, I don't. And then she said, remember, he would always be trying to get us to do things with him. And I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. And it was like a floodgate opened, like literally a floodgate opened. And all these flashes of things were just going through my mind. And it was just so much. I told her, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. And I remember looking up his name, and he is listed as a sex offender. And I remember that day that they took her from the house, and I was only 11. And I remember San Diego PD came. I was in the garage watching them take her away. And he comes up to me and he says, do you know who Michael Hale is? I go, yes. I said, that's my friend's dad. And the police officer asked me, did he ever do anything to you? Touch you? Anything that made you feel uncomfortable? And mind you, I'm 11. No parent is around. No one there, just me. And I was so afraid because I didn't want the police to take me like they were taking her away. So I said, no, no. But I think I had blocked it out after that, because in 2012, when it came to light, my life literally was falling apart. I remember staring at his picture on the website, Michael Hale out of Victorville. And I just kept looking at it, and I could just feel the rage just festering in me. And I remember, because my mom was dying and she was still alert, she was able to understand and hear and have conversations. And I remember I went over there and my mom was like, what's wrong? And I printed out Mr. Hale's picture and I said, do you remember him? And I showed my mom his picture and she goes, yeah. I said, he molested me. And I was just in tears, just tears. My world was shattered. My mom was dying. And I didn't know how to take all this, how to move through what just came to light. The the anger within me just started to rage. And I'm not trying to get choked up, but my entire life, I've never felt safe. I never felt like I could go to my parents. I never felt like I was ever protected. And it took a lot of healing, a lot of forgiveness. I do forgive him. I do forgive him. But that doesn't mean that we're going to be homies or we're going to chill. But I wish him well. I wish that he has made peace with himself, that he asked God to forgive him, because he damaged not only his daughter, but he damaged me, and Lord knows who else he may have damaged along the way. Another thing is, I don't like beards. I have a thing about beards because Mr. Hale had beard. I'm going to continue. Hold on.